whenever I heard that my daughter said that she's going to expose everything when she's 18, right? What is there to expose? I've been taking care of you since you were born. What are you going to expose? There's nothing to expose, baby girl. This TikTok stuff is getting to her head.
Hello, welcome to Crime Bytes, the show where we talk about some truly bizarre and disturbing crime cases. My name is Liz. I've got my Detective Scoop Dog here with his bacon treats, and today is True Crime Tuesday. Where the heck did May go? I don't know. I'm always expecting it to get so much nicer in May. The birds will be out and chirping and the trees are green. And we've had a few good days here, but I'm really hoping for more sunshine in June. But today I'm going down a rabbit hole. A new hole. I'm sorry. I'm a little sorry. I'm not, but I am. But before we get into it today, I want to promote Just Strong. It's cold enough here to have this out again. And guys, if you're anything like me and you try mostly to stay out of the TikTok world, you're going to need to be Just Strong today. And Just Strong is here for you with some great looks, whether you're a black hoodie girl like me, or really they got a lot of workout active gear and casual wear on their site with this message, and I just love it. And if you're into that look and message, you can head to juststrong.com and use this coupon code when you check out to get 10% off of your purchase. I will leave that in the description for you as well. And let's stay just strong. And yes, I mean that because we're getting into some brain rot, if you will. And there are a lot of crimes in here. Crimes and questionable activity, blurred lines. So we're going to try and unblur a few of those. My son recently introduced me to that term brain rot, and he's got me playing some Italian brain rot Roblox with him. I'm becoming an assassinino cappuccino. And of course, my favorite, tralaleo, tralala, and crocodile bombadillo. I'm not even sorry. Those are fun brain rots. Other brain rots come in train wreck type versions, the kind where you just can't look away. And dear Lord, they keep getting worse and worse. But that's kind of the appeal also, isn't it? Like, this can't be real. And I don't even know with this one, but I feel like I said I fell into a rabbit hole. Spent most of my research time this past week on this one, so there's no going back. Let's meet Ash Trevino.
Beep, and he's already seen my Nunu.
Also known as TikTok's worst mom, and we'll get into that there, but we'll give a brief rundown of Ash's early years before she earned this title. Ash, or Ashley Garcia, was born in Texas on January 17th of 1989. She graduated from high school in 2007 and married her high school sweetheart Izzy Gress in 2008 and became pregnant with their first daughter at 19 years old. They actually started dating pretty early on as well, when she was only 12. They would have 2 children together, but then they would divorce in 2015 when their daughters were 6 and 3. She would imply that he left her and moved on, but rumor has it that she cheated on him with a man she met in prison, or his friend, or one of his cousins, or a few different people at the same time. Rumors have been flying, but they both claimed that the other one was cheating, so maybe they both were. The divorce would become final in 2017, and Ash would begin her life as a single mother of 2 at only 27 years old. Right around when she was getting divorced in 2015, she would start up her Instagram page, and from there she went on to TikTok when that started gaining some traction in 2017. So all this was happening at once for Ash, and it is right around this time that she announces that she has a new boyfriend. Shortly after that, she debuts a tattoo with the initials DRO, Dro, that April. And then in December of that same year, she would post a picture with her hand and a wedding band, leaving people to believe this mystery inmate was her second husband. But by June of the following year, she was single again. Then in April of the next year, we're in 2019 now, she would post a date night post, but it would only be a mirror selfie. And she would hint that her new boyfriend was 2 states away, but that she was hoping for that to change soon. Then on August 10th of 2019, she would officially announce her engagement to who would become her third husband, Isaiah Gomez. She would... There's so much to this, just this part of the story. She would kind of leak by accident that she started writing to him in 2010 when he was locked up.
So, you know, I've known his family for years, and they were really good family friends of ours. And this year, me and him reconnected again, and one thing led to another. We were writing letters back and forth, you know, just seeing how each other were. I started the conversation. I'm the one that wrote him. I was so happy. I couldn't wait. I hadn't heard from him in 9 years. We lost contact for 9 years. And, you know, he's been in there for 10 years. So, I reconnected back with him. It was like we never lost contact. So, if that makes sense. But, yeah, so we were like, you know, writing each other, telling each other how we felt. And then I finally just had to give it to him. I was just like, I like you. I really like you. I don't want to lose contact anymore. And so, you know, we started chit-chatting a little more. And then, you know, the phone calls started coming. Visitations started coming. And now we're happy. We're together. We're engaged.
But she would have still been married to Izzy in 2010, which, okay, cheating. Anyhow, she would say they knew each other before he went to prison and couldn't start dating because she was married. Not because he was 15 or even younger, because that's how old Isaiah was when he went to prison for murder. So we're going to run down that one really quick because it comes into play again later. When he was 15, Isaiah participated in a robbery that ended up with a man being shot to death. He worked, or his friend worked at a gas station, and the manager, Mohammed, a father of 7, was going to make a cash deposit during his shift. Isaiah's friend would call Isaiah and 2 other boys who would get Mohammed to pull over, and they shot him and took the money. The kid who actually pulled the trigger took $4,000, and Isaiah took $1,000, and 7 children were left without a father. So that's Isaiah Gomez, and then they got caught because as teenage boys, they were going around bragging about it. After they shot and killed Mohammed, they dragged his body into the woods and set his car on fire and took the money. Isaiah would receive 45 years for Mohammed's death, which, great. Apparently, like I said, Ash knew him before and possibly tried to connect with him when she was still married and he was first incarcerated, but they really reconnected in 2019 and they would get engaged that August. Then she would visit him for the first time in September, and it was through a glass wall, but then on September 21st, they would have a non-glass visit, so that implies they may have gotten married by then. And yeah, she gets her daughters there, and they're referring to him as Daddy. He gets her an actual ring that following December. And on January 10th of 2020, she would claim that she had visited him every weekend since August 14th, but she wasn't sure if she would be able to this weekend, and she wasn't even sure if they would make it. But then, 2 weeks later, she posts this little gem. It's a second look post. And in February, she would get his name tattooed on her arm. And that May, she would cover up the DRO initial tattoo with a rose. And on October 21st, she would announce their divorce. And he would leave her, apparently, because she was talking to other inmates. And after him, she would just kind of keep going, dating inmate after inmate. She reached about 30 or so.
You're my 30th inmate. Did I not tell you that? I swear. I've been with 30 inmates. I'm not with no one, just with you, but I've already married 2.
She would constantly post herself on TikTok Live. That would become her thing, drunk TikTok Lives, and she would start making money from this. It's really insane. It's like a whole universe I wish that I didn't know existed. Like, I don't know, chat roulette for the narcissist. Maybe that's a little too harsh, because there are some people with real talent on TikTok that do a great job and actually entertain. And to be fair, Ash sure was entertaining, but part of her drunk live broadcasts was her calling her inmate boyfriends and broadcasting their phone calls, which I'm also pretty sure is completely illegal, and got her into a little bit of trouble, and a few of her boyfriends had their call privileges revoked, but yeah, on to the next if that happened. Anyhow, she divorces Isaiah in October, and then in November, she makes a post about how she always has to support her hubby. Her next prison husband was NoT Trevino, which is where she gets that last name Trevino. No was arrested for stabbing a man outside of a nightclub, and he was sentenced to 25 years in 2015. Another notable pairing was her boyfriend, Francisco Montero. Francisco killed 2 girls. One was 13 and one was 19. The 19-year-old just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and was an innocent bystander. The 13-year-old was in a rival gang. Because a 13, And he would get his video privileges revoked for 90 days, and she broke up with him. With Ash, like, she would state she kind of fell into prison dating. Watch this clip.
I was growing up going to prisons to visit my dad's best friend. I would always watch cop shows, like the TV show Cops. I would always watch that show. I was always into that kind of stuff since I was a young girl. As I got older, I just had this thing to be with somebody incarcerated. Like, I don't know, I liked bad boys, okay? So, yeah, that's how my prison lifestyle started. Like, I wasn't just brought into this life, you know? Like, I just had this thing about prisons. I don't know what it is, to be honest.
So there's this whole, where's he gonna go? He's locked up attitude, which, I'm sorry, it does kind of give a little bit of credit to maybe her first husband was cheating on her. Even if she cheated too, I don't know. Who knows with Ash, but it would be one way to explain the inmate appeal. It's also rumored that she attempted to start a relationship with Chris Watts and remarked that maybe he was unhappy, that's why he killed his family. Then there was Eli Rodriguez. Eli was a boyfriend who is out now and was on a bunch of her TikTok lives
with her. I take a trip out there soon, but you know, I'd be shy. You're too famousness.
Whatever. I told you if you come over here, you can stay at my place.
So we definitely gonna be in heatness.
He was in prison for strangling a woman and breaking his 2-year-old daughter's femur. He slammed a truck door on the little girl's femur and claimed it was a mistake. Then there was Jessie, the inmate who blew up her TikTok when she picked him up from prison after dating him for 9 months. And let me just show you the footage. It was awkward and apparently didn't give the look like they were just dying to be together. And this would result in a breakup after 8 days because he was getting too friendly with other women on social media, which is really sad. But then Ash would go and do a pregnancy scare, then say she lost the baby because of stress. And then this.
Nobody was supposed to know that I had an abortion. And he literally just told everybody that I had an abortion. But I had an abortion because I didn't want to have his baby. Hey, Daddy.
Which, I mean, you just told everyone that on live, and I'm not even going to get into that, but I think most of us can agree this is pretty messed up. So with all this craziness, you would assume, or maybe you would assume, that she might have lost custody of her daughters at some point. But no, People would call CPS because of the things that she did on live.
And it's not gonna happen. Do you know how many CPS cases I've had on me in the last 4 months, and I still have custody of my kids? Like, you do understand when you call CPS, you have to have actual proof that they're in an unfit condition, right? Like, you really have to have proof that my kids are really being not taken care of. You do understand that, right? For those of y'all that love to call CPS on me, y'all do understand. You have to have proof that my kids are in harm's way, my kids are this, my kids are that, y'all really have to have proof.
And yet nothing. She would claim the kids were with her mother because of all the drama that was going on while she was sorting things out with CPS and all the people calling on her. So if she never lost her kids, this actually does make a lot of sense, because if CPS came and clocked that the girls actually did have a safe place when Ash was doing her thing, they probably might have been okay with that, depending. I mean, it looks like they were, because CPS is extremely overloaded, unfortunately. And it's kind of a bad place. And one comment I found while I was on this little adventure summed it up quite perfectly. They said that they would lay awake at night thinking about the kids that they couldn't help because the situation wasn't bad enough. Some people know how to hide things and look good enough, and it's kind of terrifying. Ash here is really just throwing it in our faces, and yet she's got enough support there to keep her kids with her, unless they actually did get taken away, and she's still kind of keeping that face, which it's hard to cover people who just lie like that. Flip a coin, there's your answer. I don't know. It really could be either, but along those lines, one of the biggest public gripes, I guess, was that Ash didn't have beds for her girls. She had an air mattress in a room that they shared, which, okay, but she had people offering to buy beds for her kids and refusing them with one excuse after another, to the point where it's just like, buy your girls a bed. It almost became like a rage bait thing. Like, she probably was purposely not doing it for the attention she was receiving and therefore more money. But yeah, just okay enough for them not to be taken away again. Like, they've been at my mom's house more, or we're moving, or when they were actually offered beds. I don't know if we should do bunk beds or 2 different beds. I'm just not sure at this point. Like, just get your daughter a bed. Daughters, beds, come on. And this is someone bringing in, or claiming to bring in, $1 to $2 grand a day on TikTok lives. Spend that on a bed, then decide. Get a better bed if you want later, which who knows if that's even true, but that's just like the prime example of essentially how Ash views her kids. She's out partying, leaving them at random people's houses during holidays, and picking apart their appearances on TikTok lives. There was one where she asked her 15-year-old daughter if she wants lip fillers on a live, and then when her daughter said no, she didn't just leave it. She pulls apart her daughter's lips, telling them they weren't quite full enough. 15 years old. And she would do TikTok battles with this daughter and be upset when she would lose. The girls are homeschooled because with all this going on, they couldn't stay in public school. And they remarked on a podcast that the 3 of them all did together that they wish they could go back to before they were notorious, and not in a good way. Let me play another clip.
Pull her by the hair because I was so mad at her. Like, I feel like he loved her more than he loved me, and so, like, I took my anger out on her. And she doesn't even, like, hate me for that. Like, she doesn't even remember that.
So being jealous of a new child isn't completely off. It's something that can be tied to postpartum, learning how to adapt and be a mother for the first time. But taking these feelings out physically on a child is completely deranged. She would go and backpedal and say that she tried to grab her while she was running away, and that's how she got her hair pulled, but...
So, like, I took my anger out on her.
No. And now let's touch briefly on Santos. So when Ash's oldest daughter was 15 and showed her mom this TikTok account of Santos saying, "Oh, look at mom, he's really cute," Ash decides to slide into his DMs, and they started going live together, and it turned into this.
Yo, it's y'all go to my Instagram right now. I'm literally seeing beautifulness. Oh my God.
So she gets herself kicked off of Instagram, fired from her job for that was her flashing Santos with everyone else watching live. She tells him she's going to breastfeed him. I simply cannot. So she disgustingly and publicly steals her daughter's crush. You'd think, have you heard enough yet? No, there's more. So she apologizes for being drunk and exposing herself, saying she runs to alcohol for everything. She goes to meet Santos for the first time, and he ends up standing her up for 3 days, and this is another whole saga with her crying on live about it. Then he does show up, and they're always drinking and on live. People go and find out he's 19, which, okay, that's also illegal with the drinking. And he gets all emotional because he can't be a club promoter anymore with his fake IDs. Let me play another clip.
Stop. I got you. I told you that. I told you I got you. I got you. I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Stop. I got you. Stop.
Santos is also looking at some separate assault allegations that are also very serious. So let's talk about what really did it with Ash and why her little reign of terror may or may not be over. There is a TikToker named Heffa who Ash was going live with all the time, and that fell apart. But one day, this girl named Zara would join the live, and Zara wanted to talk to Ash about her ex-husband Isaiah because Isaiah had killed her father. Her father was Mohammed from the gas station. And this was Ash's response.
Mohammed, right? How do you know that he wasn't the one behind the Twin Towers? He tried to do the Twin Towers, bro. There was a lot of Mohammeds that were in the Twin Towers. I'll go hard for Isaiah because Isaiah's innocent. He didn't do nothing. He's innocent in my books. I have his name tattooed right here for a reason. He's so innocent. Isaiah's just an innocent little angel. Can't wait until he comes home.
She would come on later and apologize, but let's have a listen to that.
I apologize for my actions. I apologize for everything. If I offended you, I apologize. Those are not my intentions. The daughter came on being disrespectful, and all I knew was to defend myself. She tried to force me to say her dad's name. I'm not your puppet. You're not going to force me to do something that I'm not going to do. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a cruel person. She shouldn't have requested me.
There are really only so many times you can I use alcohol to deal with my problems, that it's going to work and people are going to let things slide. I would know. Then her main TikTok page would get deleted this past April when she would get drunk, go into a club bathroom, and flash everyone while she was urinating.
Like, no, Ash, oh my God.
Her first husband would actually pass away 2 years ago, 2013, from leukemia. And she would, of course, attempt to milk that for as much sympathy as possible. And it got to be so bad to where her daughters were asking her to stop talking about their father on lives. And did she? So, besides facing some legal issues for destroying some Airbnbs, it doesn't look like Ash is actually being charged with anything serious, despite her questionably dangerous way of living and parenting. What do you guys think about this one? At what point should she have lost her daughters, if you think she should have at all? Do you think she should not even be a question in CPS's head? I don't know. Maybe they should have a little more of a voice now that they're older, but is it more like Ash says, well, these things happen, it is what it is. They have their bag now from their TikToks. I don't know, I'm reeling like I spent my week kind of binge watching The Tiger King again. It was a great distraction from something that's taking up a little bit too much of my mind, so I get that appeal. I just kind of can't believe this is real, and there's a not so small part of me that hopes that the worst of this is all kind of just an act. This is just another in recent cases of influencers exploiting their children and the kids suffering, really, and it's gotten so bad that people are calling for laws to be made for cases just like these, but right now there aren't any. It's harder to put this stuff into legal writing, but hopefully cases like this one and Ruby Frankie will start setting precedents for what is not okay legally online so that less children will suffer in the future. So today's real fact with Scoop Dog is going to be, if you have a problem with alcohol, find help. There's so many different programs. Some people can drink and some people can't. I'm one of the people who can't, and it took me losing a whole lot in my life to figure that out. So never really any judgment from over here. Maybe a little though if if you're out there like Ash, okay, maybe I am being a little judgy, but my gosh, are we all seeing the same thing here? If you're out there like Ash, it might be time to get help. That's all. Before you lose everything, because, yeah, there's a lot at stake in situations like this, and people don't take it seriously all the time, but there are places to help for people who need it, like today's positive highlight, Women for Sobriety. Women for Sobriety is a women-only secular group for women who battle substance abuse disorders. They are a nonprofit and they use a self-help angle to attempt to help nurture women and cultivate friendships. And that can be really great for healing. Things like depression, low self-esteem, humiliation, shame, and low self-worth are all underlying issues that can lead to substance abuse, and Women for Sobriety looks at these issues through their New Life program. If you are struggling and think this sounds good, check them out at addictioncenter.com or call the number that I have up here. It is a 24-hour hotline. These will be in the video description as well. Sometimes it's hard but necessary to make changes. And with that, I will wish you a very happy end to your May, and hopefully we get some nicer June weather. Stay strong. Just strong, everyone. Don't forget that coupon code. And we're jumping from moms to dads now. I've got a list, and I'm not sure which one we're going to dive into next week, but I have a list of diabolical daddies. It's gonna get ugly. But until next week, please stay safe out there. Bye.
And no, it does not smell well. You can ask Santos.